Hello, 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 everyone. Good afternoon and good morning from where you folks are joining in. My name is Zen, and today we are here on a very special session with a very special guest of ours. And
Hello, hello, hello,
he
everyone.
is Z.
Good afternoon
I
and
have a
good.
recall. Let me just see if everything is clearly audible, and if everything is fine, I'll just be looping in Z into the stream. If anybody is here joining live, I can see a couple of people who have already tuned in. Please just let me know if you can hear me well, if everything is working fine, because I'm not very good with these things, but I'm trying my bit. So, if it's all good to go, anybody here? Mhm. Okay, I think we can now put Z on air. Okay. Okay, folks, if you're here, please just let me know if the settings are fine because I can't see any comments as yet, but I can see a couple of viewers who've joined in on the YouTube link.
Hi Zain, how are you?
Very well, Z. Hello, you're also looped in now. Doing well. How
Yeah,
about you? How are you doing
yeah.
today?
So far, so good. The battle is on, and we are right up to it. So let's hope for the best.
Well, yes, the pandemics are going on, right?
Absolutely,
All right, Z. So, firstly, welcome to this session here along with us. Thank you for your time. And,
my pleasure.
we had a couple of questions which are already in loop for you. So
Yeah,
maybe we'll start with that. And we have a comment from Mubera. All right, Mubera, great. So looks good. Fair. So Z, we can start with a couple of questions that I received from a couple of my students, regarding the PR sites.
yeah,
Okay. So are you ready? Shall we start, Z?
yeah. So to get started, Zain, first of all, thank you for having me, and it's our pleasure to be associated for a long time now.
Yes.
And just before my audience knows you, I just want a quick introduction from your side, and then I'll introduce myself, and then we'll
Yes.
get into the questions and how we are going to do today's program.
Perfect. Okay. So, firstly, for all people who are here new to our channel, my name is Zen, and I'm a Paragon certified self-help instructor. If you're stuck with your Canadian language benchmarks and this is your problem, to achieve your PR, I am certain that I can help you on that front. I've been doing that for a year now, and we have a list of successful people who we've managed to deliver the results that we committed. And in regards of Z, we are also, we are two hands together as one in the same. So Z has, just to give you a pre-introduction to my audience around Z, Z has been working, he's based out of Ottawa and he's an RCIC immigration consultant. He's also helped a lot of people in achieving their immigration dreams. So Z, I'll just hand over it to you. Maybe you can give a quick intro to all the audiences here.
Yeah, thank you, Zen, for the introduction. Yeah, myself, Z, I'm based in Ottawa, Canada. I'm a regulated Canadian immigration consultant. I have been focusing a lot in last 4 or 5 years on Canadian immigration because it's on the radar for many people to make Canada as their permanent home. And that's what my job is, to make sure that whatever best I can offer in terms of providing my services, and that's what I have been doing, and with God's grace we have got some amazing results. And just to give heads up to all my audience that Zen has been a good instructor in terms of language challenges that many people have, and I have been referring my clients to him as well whenever anybody is having challenges for their language, because try and understand that language score is one of the important uh, I would say the
Really
criteria between you and Canada, because most of the other factors that's very important for a PR, permanent residency program, is like age, qualification, experience. These are the things that are frozen. You cannot change your age, education, qualification. What you can change is your IELTS score, and that's why, or the language score, CELPIP or IELTS. That's both exams are accepted for permanent residency. So I always tell my clients that this is one thing you should focus, and especially if you are busy with your day-to-day life, I would say spend time on this exam, because that's how critical this exam is. In most cases've seen, the language score is the barrier between you and Canada. Let's put it that way. Yeah.
That's correct, Z. Just to
Yeah.
add on to that, Z, what I've also figured out, while doing this for some time, that many times people think there are shortcuts in order to achieve a language score. Maybe IELTS, maybe CELPIP, or XYZ.
Yeah.
But for people who are here, please understand there are a lot of different kind of messages that I'm sure you receive through social media where people say they can fix your scores without you giving exams and blah blah blah, and so many things around it. It's not true. Okay, number one, it's just not true. They just try to dupe you with your money and waste your time. Okay, so you're
Absolutely.
on two losses. But eventually, that's not even the thing. Even if, for example, if there's a way, I think it existed before, or whatever the case was. Right now, it doesn't exist. I'm certain of it. But even if there is a way and you're not confident of your language abilities, Z, you have immigrated there, right? In Canada, you're there sitting
Yes.
in Ottawa, and I'm here in New Delhi. So, don't you think for people who have this problem around language, especially if they're not able to communicate well in English, there could be so many problems they could be facing, right? So, any examples, any instances that you have recovered in your time, while being there in Canada, which you witnessed?
uh, you know uh, from my perspective, language is very important, just because not only for permanent residency, even for your own well-being when you are in Canada,
Yeah,
because it's a diverse country. We have seen, during my Canadian citizenship ceremony, we had around 99 country being represented in that ceremony, and I personally believe that Canada is one of the most diverse country in the world, and the common language amongst all the countries is English. So even for your personal well-being, English has been critical. It's not only for permanent residency. So my advice to everyone who is outside Canada or within Canada, if you are looking for a permanent residency, spend time on language exam. This is one of the biggest challenge I have seen, and I'll give you one good example about some clients who are very like they depend on your advice and they do what you ask them to do. There was a client who was facing this problem, and I told her that, listen, the only way you have right now is language. If you can improve your score, you won't believe, within 1 year she attempted around 7 exams,
whoa.
and finally she got what she wanted, and she is happily migrated to Canada. The message here is that don't don't think that IELTS is just one attempt or two attempt. It's an investment. It's an investment of $350 for exam. It's an investment to hire somebody who's experienced like Zen. It's an investment. Think about that. You are taking a big jump in your life. This is a life changing thing that you are trying to achieve. So there's no shortcut to things which are valuable, which is worth going. And Canada is one of those country where you know it has proven during COVID that this is the country who has been there for the people, who has been there for the general people in Canada, supporting financially and politically wherever they can. So I think there's no shortcut, and that's what my message would be to conclude what you said. Is there any shortcut? The answer is there's no shortcut to that.
Sorry to tell you this, folks, but there is no shortcut. Thank you, Z.
No, absolutely, yeah.
But folks who are all here live with me, please do drop in and let us know your country of residence, because we're trying to identify if you're an inlander or an outlander, and then we'll jump into a couple of your questions. So I can see we have around 18 people right now on YouTube and a couple on the Facebook channel as well. So just feel free to drop in the comments and let us know where are you based at this point of time. Are you in Canada and or are you outside Canada? Okay, so it'd be good to know where you're from so that we can answer in specific, because immigration is very big. See, but this makes me wonder around this question that I don't know how many people have asked you, but the question around IELTS versus CELPIP. So, do many of you, your people who come down to you regarding your immigration help, are they aware of CELPIP first? Do they even know that there is an alternate to IELTS exam?
I believe that CELPIP is a Canadian originated exam which
Yeah,
is focused and accepted in Canada,
yeah,
versus IELTS, which is a global exam which is accepted by many countries. So the
correct.
popularity of IELTS is actually overlapping the importance of CELPIP. I would highly recommend people that look for both options, because right now I have seen that people are not able to book the exams because of the policies that is announced
Oh yes,
and will be launched on May 6th. But the point here is that you need to understand that, if I was a client and if I want to migrate to Canada and I see language as a barrier, I would just focus on, attempting both the exams, and
right.
at least try and understand the exam before saying no, I will focus only on IELTS or I will focus only on self-pip. I would say, there's a lot of material available on YouTube, on various channels, and Zen himself has a WhatsApp group where he has been, helping many people to understand the exam. Join somebody whom you trust, rely, and work hard.
Correct.
Like we have been repeating in last 5-10 minutes, that there's no shortcut. Work hard on IELTS, work hard on it, and try both. What will you are going to lose is $300-400 for the exam, but try and understand, if you get the score you want, it's a big hurdle that you have cleared off.
Yes. And also, just thank you, Z. But just to let our audiences know a little difference, because I receive this question a lot of times. Z. Okay, people
Yeah.
are number one in India. Firstly, when we started into self-help mentoring and all, there was just one center based in Chandigarh. But now we have
Yes.
centers in Ahmedabad, we have centers in Chennai. There are also centers which are planning, in plan to be open maybe in Bombay very soon, because there's a big audience, from the Indian diaspora there. Also, there's a center in Delhi now, and
Yeah.
all these new centers that have come up, folks. This, and especially this is for people who are in India. This is why I want
Yes.
you to let me know in the comments, where you're based. But if you're in India, there's a good news, and there is more good news coming in regards to self-help exam, that you can have your center nearby to your place, and
Yes.
so this, of course, this question, Z, is very predominant, but we'll spend
Yes.
just a minute on it, because I want to jump into a couple of questions that I've received from my mentees, who had queries regarding for you, because you've given us your
Yeah.
time. That is,
Yeah.
I want you to cover more on that. But just to clear the air, folks, CELPIP and IELTS, both are English language examinations. So if you're proficient enough, if you're advanced in your communication, you will be able to meet your goal through any of these exams. But it depends on what exactly are your strengths and weaknesses. So the major thing, folks, for all who are watching us here, CELPIP has this more control, I would say, or let's say a more easy approach to your productive skills, especially in regards to writing. So there's this guy, Saurabh. Saurabh, I'll be responding to you soon, buddy. I've received your message, but I didn't get the time enough to respond back. But Saurabh Bazzi had just messaged me that he's given CELPIP, I think 3-4 times, IELTS once, but he's not been able to achieve his goal, and he's confused and perplexed at this point of time what to do. So Saurabh, for you and for others, you need to identify, number one, your strengths and weaknesses. If writing is not your strength, I will advise you to go for CELPIP, because there is a bit flexibility available in this, and because it's an email and a survey. Okay, I actually am also doing a live next weekend with Soumya, who's one of the IELTS instructor, and we will cover more elaboratively your details and discussions around IELTS versus self-help. But just to in a nutshell, to let you know that if your writing is not that strong, go for self-help. If you're speaking in front of a computer or in timed responses is not that good, go for IELTS. Eventually, the exam doesn't matter, folks. If you're good in English language, you will be able to achieve your goal through any of these exams. Okay, so we've had a couple of questions as well, Z. Before we take in that, I want you to answer a little question that I had regarding one of my student, Vikas.
Mhm.
And it's kind of I'm sure you're receiving that a lot these days, that the new program which was launched by the 6th May program, I'm not sure
Mhm.
what that name is called, so I would want you to take a lead on that and let us know around the processing times. Also,
Okay.
the scores was mentioned by Vikas. So Vikas, if you're here, you can post in more questions. We're trying to answer your question here. And
All
he's
right.
also mentioned, Z, that the last draw was 417, so he's also asking some predictions on the score if you have.
So I would cover this question in two parts. Let's first understand May 6th, what exactly it is. So as you folks know that COVID has been affecting many countries, and unfortunately India is one of the countries which is, leading right now in terms of its impact, negative impact on each and every individual, I would say at large. So Canada understands that right now there are travel restrictions, and unfortunately couple of days ago, Canada announced that they are not allowing any flights direct from India to Canada. And slowly and steadily, most of the countries are trying to ban flights from India just to protect, more cases in that country. So Canada and IRCC understands that in the upcoming months there would be challenges if they focus on FSW, which is Federal Skilled Worker category. I have one question from Mubaira, so I'm trying to answer that as well while this question is answered. So FSW, yes, draw will be there, but right now, what I understand on the meetings that we had with IRCC and our colleagues as well, that the focus is on people inside Canada, because they are the one who are already in Canada. They are the one who can be given more exemptions in terms of requirement, and they are there already contributing to the Canadian economy, which is very, very important at this point in time. So I would say the people who are outside Canada under FSW, I think you will have to wait for a few months. I'm not the one who is going to predict the score, because that's really impossible for anyone on this globe except IRCC, because prediction is not going to help you. So I don't want to give you a number where you can start dreaming or start thinking about it, because right now there are many challenges every country is going through. So they are going to make some changes, and Canada has, I don't want to say it is fortunate or unfortunate, but Canada has its priority to protect Canadians and people inside Canada. So the public policy, which is called as temporary public policy, under this program that's being launched, will be launched on May 6th. They are going to invite, or allow 90,000 applicants under this program. There's never been in the history that they have given this exemption in terms of work experience requirement. We were happy, at the same time we were shocked that people with no experience will be eligible under this program. Not even single time in the history has this happened. There are many people who are much more qualified outside Canada, well experienced, qualified, but here we see a temporary public policy inviting 90,000 applicants under different programs, where you as a candidate just need to complete your studies in Canada. You should have a CLB language band, CLB score of 5, which is very, very manageable for by anyone who has been in Canada. So CLB 5 is the requirement. You should have a job, and the most important criteria which people should understand is that you have to be inside Canada when you apply. So somebody who is traveling, let's say home country, and now stuck because of the travel ban, unfortunately they will not be eligible under this program. So just a heads up, if you're outside Canada, I don't think so you can make it before 6 because of the travel ban. If you can find out a way, I don't want to recommend anything in terms of your travel plans, but you take the call. But the program is very clear that you need to be in Canada when you apply. You need to be in Canada when you get approval. So basically, you have to be in Canada. That's how it is,
Right.
and you should have a job. Yeah, so that's what the public policy is all about.
Okay.
And for people who are outside Canada under Federal Skilled Worker category, I would say uh, wait and watch, but don't lose your hope. Canada has a big target of 401,000 permanent resident in 2021. There was
Yes.
a big drop last year. They are going to cover up that as well. So the hopes are real, but the timeline, I would say it's not real. We don't know the timeline. So
Nobody's
don't
sure.
lose your hope. Keep
Yeah.
your hopes alive, because these hopes are real hopes, but we don't know the timeline.
Hope and faith, the world is running through it. Thank you, Z,
Absolutely. Yes.
which is, I hope, Vikas, we were able to cover, the exact question that you wanted to know from us.
Yeah, so
Um,
just to have one line answer to that, there is no
Please.
processing timeline for May 6th program yet. So we are waiting for the update. But for now, I would say if you don't have a work permit valid for at least 1 year or 18 months, I would think twice before I apply for this program, because we really don't know the timeline. What
Okay.
if it takes more than a year and you don't have a work permit? Because this program doesn't have a bridging open work permit option. I would like to repeat, this program doesn't have a bridging open work permit option. So you are limited on options.
Mhm. All right. So thank you, Z. And there's this second question before we jump into the questions that we are receiving in the chat. By the way, just to repeat myself again, folks who are here, please let us know your place of residence. Are you an inlander or an outlander? And then we'll be in a better position to take up your queries. But the questions that we've received, I'm just going to jump on them. Before that, there was this another question from one of my other mentee, Z, Komal. And Komal was wanting to know, for people, I'm sure there are more people who have this kind of question. Even Ramneet, who was also in a session with me these days, wanted to know that people who are, let's say, above the age of 35 or touching that barriers, how can FSW as a stream benefit them, or is it right for them to wait for FSW, or should they go jump into a PNP? And what's your recommendations basically for people, Z, who are outside
Yeah.
of Canada but they want to get into Canada from through any of the available streams?
It's a very good question. And right now, YouTube is flooded with all the experienced, inexperienced, and people who know how to talk are promoting PNP as if it's like a wholesale market for permanent residency, which is wrong.
Right.
Because provincial nomination program is a, I would say, is a photocopy of federal skilled worker program, express entry. Because nowadays, all the provinces are following the process exactly like express entry. They have their own system of ranking, but most of the provincial nomination program requires you to be under express entry. So my answer to that question would be, if you are under a federal skilled worker category, FSW, I would say go for provincial nomination program if you are eligible to apply, and apply for it. Okay, so there are like SINP, Saskatchewan Immigration Program, which is a provincial. Manitoba has its own program. BCPNP, one of our audience is asking, can I apply BCPNP? The answer to all these provincial nomination program questions is, if you are eligible, apply. If you're eligible, apply, because FSW may take some time. And if provincial nomination program has a selection or a draw and you are one of them, you should be in that pool. But the numbers of the applicant that are selected are very limited. They normally run in 3 digits. What it means that every draw will have 300, 400, 200, or maximum I have seen 750, 800 applicants up, selected under provincial nomination program. I'm not discouraging, but what I'm trying to tell you, the competition is stiff. Yesterday, I was checking the draw and the pool. There are 166,000 applicants inside Express Entry Pool right now. And out of this 166,000 applicants, this includes both inside Canada and outside Canada. So if you are one of them, like you are thinking to apply under provincial nomination program, many would be thinking and they would be in the pool. So, it's really about getting in the pool wherever you are eligible.
All right. Thank you, Z. So, Z, we'll of course now jump into the questions from the chat, and I'll try to share that on screen for you.
Yeah.
But there's this little thing that I also wanted to shed light. Z, a lot of people have come up to me and asked this. What is the real difference, Z, when you compare CEC, Canadian Experience Class, versus the Federal Skilled Worker FSW?
Okay, so CEC stands for Canadian Experience Class. As the name suggests, you have to be in Canada, have minimum 1 year of experience. Now, the definition of 1 year is full-time 1 year or part-time equivalent to 1 year. You have to be, be in Canada with this experience. And once you are eligible, then you automatically get, if you are in, let's say, FSW under Express Entry, and you are inside Canada, so you are automatically, eligible for both program, FSW and Canadian Experience Class. So ideally what happens is, you are automatically selected, and the draws, the IRCC, like you have been saying, there has been a last 3-4 months have been focusing only on Canadian Experience Class. What they're trying to do is that people who have 1 year of experience, or people who have experience, let's put it that way, in Canada, why not give them the opportunity to become a PR rather than somebody who's outside Canada? Because right now, travel ban, biometrics not happening. The VFS offices are closed all over right now because of the COVID. Even if they are open, they are very limited based on emergency or urgent requirements. So there's a lot of things that are stopping the IRCC from processing the application. So therefore, they are focusing on the Canadian Experience Class. So my advice to everybody inside Canada, First of all, if you have experience, if you have studied in Canada, you get extra points. And on top of it, get the language exam done. Because this is a second reminder given by IRCC. First was February 13th. It was a Valentine gift by IRCC where they have invited 27,632 applicants under CEC. That point in time, many applicants who have not given IELTS missed out, or they were not eligible because they didn't create an express entry pool. Because they were not eligible, they have not appeared for the language exam. So my advice to all the participants, all the applicants or aspirants is, get the IELTS done. IELTS has a validity of 2 years. So why don't you take it as an investment? Why do you think that let me first accumulate my experience, let me first get my qualification done? I would say everything is study from home, work from home. So take out some extra time and start focusing on language exam. So that was the first reminder on during Valentine, that was February 13th. And now they have a second reminder on May 6th. But the people will miss out if they have not done their IELTS. And therefore, we also have our own portal where we are assisting clients with language exam, and we have been working with Zen as well. So I would say, invest your time and money on language exam at this point in time, because that's what you can do. Nothing else right now is working. And you and I don't control how government thinks, because they have their own priority versus our priority.
Absolutely. Thank you again, Z. But I think, Z, just to summarize what I could understand, the key is basically in your own hand. The door is open. People are
Yes.
stuck around, what to do, what not to do. So, folks, this is what is the real scenario. We're here live to tell you this, that focus on your language benchmarks, maybe IELTS or CELPIP, but get it, just clear it, just ensure you have it handy, and then, of course, jump in the pool. So, Z, you've already answered question from Mubera. But there was this another question. I have a work permit. Sorry, I can't get your name here. If you can help me with your name, it'll be nice. But I can see my SKD. I have a work permit approved, expiring in December 2021. Office in Vancouver. My sister is living in Toronto. CRS is 421 with CLB 8. Can I apply for British Columbia PNP? His NOC is 2173. Is it too precise?
Yes.
You can shed some light on it. Currently, he's in India and he's traveled to Canada on business visa, but on work permit due to COVID.
So here I have little bit of lack of information. Number one, if he has a work permit, is he inside Canada or outside Canada? That's number one.
Okay.
Secondly, if he is inside Canada, does he qualify under CEC? And if yes, then he would have got the invitation, because last draw was 417 versus his score is 421. So
He's outside
therefore,
of Canada. He's just messaged. Sorry, he's
no,
outside
if
of
he's
Canada, presently in India.
so again, work permit. If he has a work permit, is it a postgraduate open work permit, or these are specific more details that we need to address the specific question. But in general, let me put it that way, that if you are a closed work permit, you have to be working, you have to have the job and get qualified under BCPNP. Like I said, that is not going to affect you. That is not going to affect you if you are eligible, because your sister being in Toronto, you being in Vancouver. So having siblings in other provinces, it may have a conflict, but it's not stopping you. Yeah, so like you said, it's a closed work permit. Then you have to make sure that to consider your experience, whether it qualifies under CEC. My high recommendation, if you have completed 1 year, give the exam. If you have not done the language exam, get into the pool. I have been repeating many times to all my clients and people who ask me question, don't wait outside. The problem is,
Yeah.
we are watching a cricket match and we are suggesting many things. I would say get into the pool, get into the stadium, start playing, and then you can suggest what you can do, rather than standing outside and predicting the score and thinking that something will happen, or I will do it at one particular point in time. Right now, do your job, whatever is possible, and then leave it up to the government and the draws that's happening to see where you stand. But my advice is, get what you're supposed to do, get it done.
Right, Z. Thank you. This is what I tell, advise my mentees as well. Work on your language benchmark. Ensure that, you're satisfied and you're done with what it really takes you.
Yeah.
But
I have a question I see from Azim Bagadia. Can you please cover up that question properly for me,
yes,
Zen?
Zee, so I'm just going to read it loud for you.
Yeah.
Graduated in December 20. Azim, we are trying to answer your question here, and he has a job. He's presently in at his hometown in India, temporarily because of COVID, and he's asking if he can still apply. Even if I get rejected, will I be considered for your programs? For will I be considered for other programs by being in the pool? Okay,
See, I have already informed about this that you have to be in Canada physically present to apply under this program. So
yeah,
that's the answer to that question. If you are in India, I would say before May 6th, if you can come here, and you should have a job. That is very important that be employed under a valid work permit or authorization to work. These are the wordings. Means you have to be in Canada, inside Canada. You have to have a job, part time, full time, 1 month, 1 year, doesn't matter. That's what the magic or the happiness is all about. That's what the excitement is, that this program doesn't need you to be experienced for 1 year, 6 months. It is just saying that, are you employed? Are you inside Canada? Are you study? Did you complete your studies in Canada? Do you have a valid work permit? Did you apply for postgraduate open work permit? If the answers are yes, then you are eligible under the public policy. But like I said, if you have limited time on work permit, you think twice before you apply for this program. And the second question is asking that if I miss out on this opportunity, can I apply for other programs? See, you can apply as many programs as you want if you are eligible to apply. But at one point in time, if both the application starts getting processed, you will have to inform CIC or IRCC that this is the program I want to proceed and this is the program I want to stop, because officer will never evaluate for both the options. So that is very, very important, that if you have under, let's say, Canadian experience class, and if you have an selected under this public policy, then once you are selected, once you have the ITA invitation to apply, you have to select one option. You can't keep driving in both the vehicle or both the programs. You have to select one. And if I was in that situation, I would always go for the permanent program, which is CEC, versus this one time public policy, because there is no timeline.
all
And the
right.
next question is adding up is, I'm employed since 3 months waiting for postgraduate open work permit. If you have applied for postgraduate open work permit and if you are employed, then you are eligible, provided you meet the other criterias. Okay, I'm just covering up the question that you're asking. I'm not explaining the entire requirement. So you have to make sure you qualify for the other requirements.
All right, Zee. Thank you so much, Zee. Zee, we have this another question from flowing in. I think this will be our last question because we've already a little off time. But Zee, this question is from Ramneet. Ramneet, is it you or is it your husband who's asking this? But Ramneet has mentioned here, Zee, that she's applying for FSW and how she can also apply for PNP.
So like I said, every province has their programs laid out on the website. If you're working with a consultant like me who is authorized by Canadian government, you can contact us. Of course, we are going to charge fee for the work that we do. Okay. But if you want to do it on your own, which is also fine, you have to visit the government website, official website of that province, look for the program and see where you are qualified. There are various streams like international student stream, foreign worker streams, there is business investor stream. So there are various programs under each province. So it is not a one line answer. I would say look for BC programs, look for Manitoba PNP, look for Saskatchewan PNP. The best PNP that I have been hearing a lot from last 2.5 years is AIPP, Atlantic Immigration Pilot Program, which has been extended. So look for that options as well. And yes, if you are under Federal Skilled Worker Program, you should apply for PNP like we discussed before to increase your chances and rather than waiting for FSW.
Maybe I'll pass on your contact to Ramit. Ramit, is there anything else that you want to know from Z at this point of time? Feel free to let us know. But Z, I know about Ramit because she's a mentee,
Yeah.
presently in my bachelor. So her focus is British Columbia because of certain reasons. So her focus when she's asking, I think around PNP would be BC PNP. But
Yeah, so I would, yeah,
PNP
I
is,
would say, yeah.
yeah, please, please.
So I would say visit the official website of British Columbia PNP, provincial
Okay,
nomination, and there are various criteria laid down. Check with which program you're eligible for,
okay,
and then if you're eligible, go for it. And if you have any connections, any connection in terms of your siblings in in British Columbia or any employer, you have your community base there. Go for it. But like I said, right now the options that you look for may not work for you. So have that flexibility.
yeah,
If you have to go for other province, I would advise go for it, because coming into Canada is much more important waiting outside and thinking which province is good for me.
correct. Makes sense.
Yeah.
Makes sense. That
Yes.
makes me just, this question that I actually have for you here, Z. And I think if there's no more anything else, by the way, from the audience, if there's anything else, please feel free to drop in. Otherwise, we'll be just wrapping up this session. But Z, when we compare different PNP programs, because there's so many different provinces, right,
Yes.
in Canada.
Yeah.
In your experience, Z, I've heard people, because I also teach benchmarks, right? So people say SINP is easy when you compare with BCPNP. So are these just myths, or is there some, grain of truth inside them too?
Yeah. See, when one person says, let's say Saskatchewan immigration program is good for me, the
Okay.
question is, there is a knock code, right? There's a knock code
National
that
occupation.
determines your selection process, because provinces are also looking at the benefit that the economy will have when you migrate to that particular province, right?
Right.
So, let's say if I am an IT technician, like 2173 belongs to software or computer or software programmers, and if that province needs that particular uh, skills, then that province is good for me and they will select me. But on the contrary, let's say I'm an accountant and they don't look for accountant, for example, then that province is not good for me. So it is dependent on your work experience, your knock code selection, and how do you justify your knock code selection. Because like language score, even knock code is very, very important. Knock code stands for National Occupation List, that is released by the government. And you have to understand that your job duties are reflected in what you do, rather than just thinking that software programmers are in demand, let me put my resume under that and start working on it. It doesn't work like that. So you have to qualify under the program, under the job that you're looking for. And then if that province requires that, then yes, you are right. For example, right now frontline workers are much in demand all across provinces. So if you are a nurse from India, with a good score and everything matches up, you will be picked by almost any provinces, because right now Canada is struggling with healthcare workers. We have our relatives who are working as a nurse. We have friends who have been top doctors in government hospitals here. They are clearly saying that we don't have enough staff. And right now, Ontario government has announced that they are going to talk with other provinces to, transfer the resources. But unfortunately, right now, none of the provinces would be willing to give their resources to other provinces, because they don't know what's coming up due to COVID. So I would say people outside Canada under provincial nomination program, if you are a healthcare worker, if you are in IT, if you are, any essential workers amongst them, you have the best chance.
All right, Z. Thank you again, Z. I think we're good to go with this. If there are no questions, we will wrap this up.
Yes.
But Z, this is just to for all, especially for the viewers, not here for Z, but for the viewers who tune in here, just know that we are passing through unprecedented times, and these times are strange and new for everybody. Okay,
Yes.
so please don't rely on information just if somebody's telling it to you. Do go through it, verify it through authentic sources, and don't
Yes.
create mind blocks around these things. Yes, these are new times. We never know what happens, but see it more from the magical front of it instead of being just being lost by through your logic. That's what I
Yeah.
want to tell all the people who joined in here. And
Yeah.
of course, we are the last alphabets in the English ABCD, but we are two Z's. But for sure, you can rely on us, and we know how to sail your boat through your language benchmarks, or when it comes to Z, I haven't figured out anybody better than Z when
I,
it comes to immigration.
I would
So
say, although it's the last alphabet, but for your journey, we are the first person you should contact.
yes, we can do
Yeah,
that for sure. So
absolutely.
thank you everybody for all those who joined in here with us, and I hope we were able to cover the questions. If there are anything more, feel free to drop in. We'll try to do something more around Z in the coming weeks
Yes.
so that we can
So,
at least
yeah,
do a little bit in helping people
just
solve the
yeah
questions
just
when they're sitting at
yeah
home.
just for your audience who are inside Canada, we have a webinar coming up Wednesday, 28th of April. That's coming Wednesday. The timing is 1 p.m. Canadian time, that's Ontario time, which will be around 10:30 p.m. in India. But again, this will be focused for people inside Canada, so I'm not
Language.
sure if Indian audience wants to be on the program, but we have a program specifically for the public policy. So the audience who are looking for that program, do not miss out on that. But yes, my final advice is, work hard on what is required from your side rather than hoping for magic happening from IRCC and other things. And there are a lot of news floating around on YouTube, because YouTube is another resources like Google, where things becomes easier or looks difficult or easier, depends on how you look at it. But if you really want to work on it, get going. Don't wait for anything, because you are the only one who can change your life, right? So don't wait for anybody. If you need any language assistance for your preparation, contact Zen. And if you need any immigration consulting services from my side, we'll be happy to advise you. But like, we have been doing it professionally, so do expect that there will be charges around it. So please be considerate about that. And that's how we are here to help you in the right way. And yeah, all the very best. We hope that things go normal. We pray the audience and the people in India and across the globe gets away from COVID as soon as possible, because that has impacted many people on different facets of their life. So stay safe, be home, don't go outside, make vada pav, make samosa pav, make dahi balla all at home, and enjoy and post your YouTube videos so you can keep yourself busy and positive during these negative times.
Yes. Thank you, Z. Thank you for this
Thank you.
positive message, and of course,
Thank
for
you.
everybody, just stay safe. That's it. So, although we have a new question here jumping in at this point, but I think it's too late to cover it, Z. So,
Yeah.
Amrin, sorry, we've just wrapped up the session. It's great if I'll just drop in my email so that if there are any more questions around this, you can just drop in via email. We try to do something more around this when we have time.
and and they can always subscribe to my Facebook page, which is Z
Yes.
Overseas. Leave your comments if you like the program, because we are going to do it on a regular basis, because that's what we want people to understand, the reality, ground reality inside Canada versus what's floating around on the social media on all the programs. So thank you very much, Zen, and we wish you all the very best to all the audience there, and good luck with everything. Final message: stay safe. This is very, very important, more important than getting a PR. So stay safe, stay healthy. Thank you.
Right. Thank you, Z. Thank you,
Thank
everybody,
you.
for
Take care.
all those who joined in. Thank you, Amit, Amrin, Mubera, Azim, and the others, Ramneet, and the others who were here. Okay, so thank you. We're just
Thank
going
you.
to wrap up. Have a good time. Stay safe,
Thank
and we'll
you. Take
catch you
care.
soon. Bye.
Bye bye. Take. Thank you.